Hey guys, Maka here with a 100% full game walkthrough for a game called One Eyed Kutkh. I honestly have no idea how you pronounce this word. Feel free to correct me in the comments down below and call me a little dumb. But this is another game by Sometimes You. They recently made a game called North, which was a really easy 1000. And this game is almost as easy as that. It'll take us roughly 30 to 35 minutes to get the full 1000 gamer score. And it's going to be pretty easy. I also believe this game is quite cheap, around the $5 mark, for those who want to save a little bit of money while they get their gamer score. The game is pretty straightforward. It's a point-and-click adventure type game, and I'll be bringing you through all 1,000 of the gamer score, all 10 of the achievements you can get in a single playthrough. I don't know if there's chapter select, but I would highly recommend doing this entire video in one sitting and not backing out to the main menu, because I think it might be one of those games where you have to do the entire thing in one go. Now, as soon as you have control, you see that the controls are pretty simple. You have this little hand that moves around, and you can click on things, and that's about it. For the first achievement, we're going to click on this X here, and we're going to click on it 4 times in a row. Every time we click on it, it will have like a small little cinematic type thing, as you can see on screen. And we're just going to do this 4 times in a row. The same button. Make sure you're clicking the same button 4 times. If you click a different one, something else happens, and you will have to restart the game to grab this one. So that was number 2 or number 3. You can just keep clicking. You don't really have to even pay attention. It's the same thing every time, and eventually, once you do it enough times, you'll grab the achievement, and it'll just kind of, there you go. It's a 100 gamer score. Every achievement in this game is worth 100. Also, this game does have trophies. It does not have a platinum trophy, but it has 8 trophies for PlayStation or for PS Vita. And there's also 8 achievements on Steam. So if you do, for whatever reason, want to do that, this guide will show you everything that you can possibly do. Now, once you land this game, pretty simple. You'll have some instructions that kind of show up over your one-eyed purple people eater thing. And, you know, it's pretty obvious what you're supposed to do most of the time. And there isn't really many places you can go wrong here. Once you gain control of your character, you'll have kind of 3 options. What we're going to do first is go to the right of the screen. Once here, you want to pick up the gear. And then go to the left of the screen, back to the ship, and then you drag and drop the gear into its proper location. We're going to do the same thing for the gear on the left. So walk over to the left, pick it up, go back to the ship, and place it in the most right slot. It'll kind of automatically lock in there when you're close. Now you want to walk all the way to the right-hand side and interact with the piece of metal. Behind this piece of metal, you'll be able to pick up another gear, and you'll be able to go to the left to your ship, and then drag and drop this gear into one of the remaining 2 slots. Now, at this point, unfortunately, we can't find the last gear. It's going to be a little bit of a secret. It's going to be hidden, and the whole point of this game is to find this last gear so we can take off and leave this planet. So you'll interact with the ship, and then you'll move it, and once you do that, you'll have an inspect button. There's a little eyeball. Whenever I see this eyeball and I use it, I'm going to be calling that the inspect button, and you can inspect the ground here to find that there's a hole, which we can now jump into. Once inside this hole, you'll see there's a whole bunch of exits. We will need to visit all of them, but in a certain order. So the first one we'll go for is the one on the left here. Go through there, and once inside here, just wait for the birds to scare you away. You can click on them and they'll scare you away faster, but I would recommend just kind of doing it, you know, in order there. Next up, we'll go for the middle. I think you can do these, these first 3 you can do in any order, but we'll be doing them in this order. So now that we're in the middle, you'll see a small fisherman with some ducks and some fish. And eventually you'll have some ideas or some thoughts about it. And eventually you'll just leave. Last but not least, you want to go for the entrance on the very right-hand side. And then this is the last kind of dream sequence. You'll fall asleep, and 30 seconds later, you'll end up being able to, like, you'll automatically leave this area, and you'll get a 100-point achievement for seeing all of the dream sequences. By the way, if you expect me to explain what's happening in this game, similar to North, I have absolutely no idea. Well, I mean, I understand the fact that you're trying to, you know, fix your ship so you can leave the planet. But in terms of anything deeper than that, anything deeper than surface level, I really don't know what's going on in this game, I'll be honest. So once this little dream sequence ends, you'll unlock that achievement there called Sleeper for seeing all of the dreams. And now we can go for the last exit, which we haven't used, at the very top of the screen here. And you'll unlock Explorer for another 100 gamer score. Found all of the exits inside of the labyrinth. At this point, you'll get some instructions on your left of the screen. You can either go up or down in this tube. You'll want to start climbing up. And you basically just need to reach the top of this section. Here you'll get stopped. And you don't need to, I don't think, but I'm going to click the gear icon just so he has this idea, just to make sure we don't really miss anything. But from here on out, just climb all the way to the top and keep climbing until you reach the ship at the very top of this tunnel. I don't know why this tunnel section is so long. It's, I think close to like a minute or two. And, it's really just it's the same thing just over and over. And eventually you'll reach this window. And that's when you're kind of at the top. And you'll be allowed to kind of exit here. Now, once you gain control of your character, walk all the way to the right-hand side. You'll see a moon with a small ship, and you'll want to use the eyeball to inspect that. You're going to notice that he has a little ship on the bottom there that you might be interested in. And from there, you can go to the left-hand side, and you want to go all the way to the left. Skip the ship for now. So past the branch here, past the ship entrance, and all the way to the left. You'll notice that there is a sun, also with a ship part on the bottom. You'll want to inspect him. And you'll notice you're going to probably want that ship piece. It seems like it's of interest to you. Now you can go back towards the middle. And go into the ship by going up. Once inside here, inspect on the left. This will give you a small thought. And after you think, you can grab. And so just grab everything you can on the left-hand side here. There will be one piece you can pick up. There will be a second piece you can pick up. And there will be a third piece you can interact with, but you won't be able to pick up. So just make sure you grab the first piece. We're going to grab the second piece. And even though we can't grab the third piece, we have to try to grab the third piece in order to be able to do the next couple of steps. So he's going to be disappointed that he can't grab that piece. Now you can move over to the right-hand side of the ship. Grab at another piece here. You'll be able to rip it off the wall. Grab at another piece. You'll be able to rip it off the wall. This looks like the gear that might fit into our ship, but it's actually the wrong shape. However, it will help us. And then, last but not least, try to grab this last piece up here. And you will be unsuccessful, but this is a required step. And then after this, you should have enough for the game to automatically bring you to the next step, which is to look at the pile of junk in the middle there and figure out what you can do with it. That'll happen automatically. So once you get this screen, you have to drag and drop to create the shape in the middle. This is very, very easy. The dragging and dropping isn't always like too accurate, but you should be able to figure it quite quickly, and you're creating like a stick man, basically. Perfect. Now, once you create the stick figure, you'll have another thought or, thought bubble. And I believe this one you'll have to interact with. So what we're going to do is once it comes up, any second here, you can pick it up and drag it to the moon. So drag it to the right, and it'll show you what would happen if you gave it to the moon. The moon would give you a ship part. Okay, interesting. Now we're going to figure out what would happen if we gave it to the sun. If we gave it to the sun would also give us a ship part. Interesting. Now that we've done both of those, though, we should have a third option. What happens if we drag it down towards our ship? It seems like both the sun and the moon would leave, and we could have a fully formed ship. So now at this point, when you have these two bubbles, you can walk to the left and drop down. Walk to the left to go towards the sun. And tell the sun about the stick man you've assembled. The sun's gonna be like, yo, that stick man is so dope. Let me go check it out. And he's gonna leave his little ship. Now we're gonna go to the moon. So that's gonna be on the right-hand side of this branch. So move all the way to the right-hand side. And we are going to tell the moon about our little stick figure. He's going to be like, yo, that's so dope. Let me go check it out. So he's also going to leave his little ship behind. Once that happens, you'll see that they're going to fight over the stick figure. You'll get an achievement called a cunning plan for causing a quarrel between the sun and the moon. At this point, your little one-eyed purple people eater monster thing should assemble a ship, and it will fly down towards kind of the base of this area, and he'll attach it to the ship that you came in. This will all happen automatically. Now, interesting enough, this is actually a free Steam game. I believe it's coming to Switch as well. It's on PlayStation Vita, and it's also on Xbox now. It's pretty cheap. It's made by a company that makes quite a few games, and usually their games have easy gamer score. They made Energy Cycle, they made North, and they made this game, and they have another game called like Spiraling Puzzles or Spiral Splatter or something like that. It's a puzzle game, also pretty easy. So they are handing out Gamerscore almost as rapidly as the ACA Neo Geo dudes. And I do believe this game did have a subtitle at one point. It was called One Eyed Kutkh, Purple purple monster or something like that. But I guess they got rid of the subtitle at some point. Eventually, this cinematic or whatever culminates in these 4 little humanoid dudes coming out of their little huts. And they're all going to raise their hands, and you have to pick one. I don't really know if it matters which one you pick. I don't believe it does. I've been just picking the dude on the very far right. Because, I don't know, he seems like he's the closest to the ships. So, I don't know. I don't know if I got lucky on my first try here or what. But eventually, once they all have their hands raised, just pick a dude that you're comfortable with. I'm picking the dude on the right. He's going to have like a little flower gear icon, and he's going to take off in the ship. And he's going to land at the very top here. We're actually over the halfway mark in the game, by the way. You can probably tell by how long the video is, but there's not a lot left, actually. Cool. Now, once you're up here, you'll have to visit every branch, and that's going to be something we're going to be working on over the next 2 or 3 minutes. So I'll be, telling you about what we're doing exactly, but you want to follow all of my moves, even if my moves seem somewhat unnecessary. You want to start by going all the way to the left, and do not talk to the fisherman quite yet. Instead, what you want to do is interact with these little dust particles, interact with the fish and flip those. And I'm not really sure. It seems like the fish are what gets you the achievement, but you should get the touch the fish 100 pointer. Although it does seem like it unlocks if you just touch the little dust particles on the little cactus things. But after you get the touch the fish achievement, talk to the dandelion head lady and ask her, hey, how do I get up? There's going to be a finger pointing up. And she'll go into her spaceship and grab you a ladder. Once that happens, we can offer her the gear. Hey, do you want this gear? She's like, nah, it's Gucci fam. And she goes up, and then you can go up the ladder. Now, because we have to visit every side of every branch, that's what we're going to be doing. If we could go left, we would, but we actually can't. So we're going to go all the way to the right. Even if there is something we're supposed to interact with, go all the way as far as you can first, and then come back for it. So we can interact here, but do not interact. Instead, go all the way to the right. Now, fun fact, there's a little cute spider here if you want. You don't really have to interact with him, but I figured I'd point it out. Now that we've reached the end of the branch, go back to the spaceship here. And then call out to the guy and see if he can help you. I think this is a Russian game. Because sometimes the people speak amongst each other and I can kind of understand it. But eventually ask that guy for a quick ladder help. And he should bring it out for you. Maybe it's a she. Offer her the gear as a thank you. She'll say no thanks. And then you can climb the ladder. Now, we're going to want to go to the left, but because we need to visit every branch, we're actually going to go to the right-hand side first. So go to the right. And go all the way to the right. There's nothing we can do here other than like interact with these fish if we wanted to, but now we can go back to the left. Now that we, have made sure we've gotten this branch for the get every branch achievement. Once we reach this dandelion lady man thing, we can ask, hey, can you help us get up there? And unfortunately, she won't be able to. So what we'll have to do instead is go all the way to the left here. We'll see this giant antlered deer, which should be able to help us. We're going to inspect it. And when we inspect it, we're going to get the idea that the antlers kind of look like a ladder. We could probably use them. So what we're going to do is walk all the way to the left here until we can no longer walk further left. We're going to inspect this bush. Now we're going to rip the bush out. Walk to the right. And then feed the deer with this bush for him to put his head down. And you should now be able to climb up his head. Once up here, we're going to go to the right-hand side. As far right as possible. Now, you don't have to do this, but I've done it out of a good habit just in case the game requires you to do it in order to track the branches. So interact with the little bush. It'll rip off this little key, and then you'll put it back on. And since we can't walk any further to the right, we're now going to walk to the left. This next step is very important. If you screw it up, you'll have to restart the game as far as I understand. So what you want to do is you want to walk to this section right here. And once you reach this section, you can walk one more time to the left to get directly under these polar bears. Now, once here, you have to inspect the polar bears, but make sure you don't walk to the left. You'll notice that the flower or whatever that is in the background seems like a ladder, and you'll have to try to climb this ladder towards the bears. And the bears will scare you down, which is good. That's the first step. We have to do this a total of 3 times. So the first time we were unsuccessful. The second time, we're going to be unsuccessful. And then the third time, we're going to get a giant nope from our main character, and she or he will not want to go up. So you'll see the third time here, we're going to try to go up. And achievement, survivor, 100 gamer score, visited the bear a total of 3 times. At this point, we can now finally go to the left. Once we go to the left, we can't return to the right. So if you miss the bears, you miss the bears, unfortunately. And if there's a chapter select, I would highly recommend that. But if there isn't, which I don't believe there is, you'll have to actually restart the entire game. Sorry about that. So all the way to the left, and ask this little boat fisherman, hey, would you give me a lift? And she'll be like, sure. And she'll come over. You'll hop on her boat. I keep interchanging these dandelion things between he's and she's. I'm honestly not sure. Could be both, could be neither. Who knows? And we'll get to the top here. Once we get to the top here, we'll ask her, hey, can you take us a little bit further? Or actually, would you like this gear as a reward or as a thank you? She'll say, nah, we're good. And you'll step off. And now you'll ask the sled dogs, hey, can you get me up? And she'll say, sure, get on the sled. And you'll walk to the right in order to get on the sled. That'll take you to the end of this branch. Once at the end of this branch, offer her the gear. She doesn't want it. Go to the fishing rod automatically and ask the fishing rod if you can get a lift. She's an absolute beast, so she'll throw you over. And now you can walk all the way to the left. Don't interact with the seesaw people. You'll see in a second here. Feel free to interact with this bush. Again, I don't think it's required, but I've been doing it out of a good habit just in case. After that, walk to the left and keep walking to the left. Ignore what the seesaw ladies have to offer you, okay? If you interact with them, you'll end up missing something very important here. Walk all the way to the left. You'll see a little like gopher type thing that ends up hiding, but this will be your last branch. You'll get the Curious achievement for 100 gamer score. Now you can walk back to the right, but do not take the seesaw yet. Instead, walk back to the left again. And again, you'll scare away this gopher thing. And again, go to the right and do not take the seesaw. Walk to the left again, and you'll scare away the gopher for a third time. And now you can finally return to the center, and you should unlock the achievement. Any second here. Seems a little late to pop sometimes. We'll do it again. We'll go left again just to see if it unlocks. You can click on the gopher a couple times. There you go. I don't know if clicking on it made it pop or if it was just timing, but you'll get the Worried Ermine achievement. If it didn't work for you, try clicking on it. I don't know. Maybe that's what got it to work. But now we can finally return to the seesaw and ask for a lift up. They will, you'll get on the seesaw and you'll get sprung up to the top there. Offer them the gear as a thank you. They don't want it. Go up. At this point, what you want to do is go all the way to the left. And inspect it. Go all the way to the right and inspect it. And after you do both of those, you should notice that both of the sun and the moon should be in the window of the ship. And that means you're ready to actually go into the ship now. You'll automatically be pulled in. At some point during this cutscene, you'll have the ability to go down, which you will want to do. So once you have the option to go down, go down. Let me just quickly check what we're missing here. Yeah, perfect. We're at 8 out of 10, 800 of 1,000, with about 3 minutes to go in the game, maybe 4. We'll be lowered down into the labyrinth, and you'll want to go across to the very bottom there. It's kind of where we started the game. And you'll come back to the one-eyed purple monster thing. They'll talk amongst each other about the ship. You can click on the ship. And this next step is very important if you want to grab your last 2 achievements here. You'll have the ship, and then you'll want to pick up the ship and drag it to the one-eyed monster. And then start the cinematic again. And the second time, you want to pick up the ship and give it to the one-eyed monster. This is not what you're supposed to do, but this is what gives you the achievement. And a third time, interact with the thought bubble. He's gonna get on his hands and knees and beg you for the boat, and you are heartless. So you are going to, again, pick it up from the middle, and you're going to give it to the one-eyed monster. Doing that 3 times will give you the stubborn achievement for refusing to give a man boats 3 times in a row. The translation on the achievements, not so great, if you haven't noticed already. He's going to beg you again. At this point, you're going to say, you know what? you're right. I will give you the boat or the ships. He is going to give you the gear now. You guys are now BFFs. The monster is going to put the gear into his ship. The monster is now going to leave in his ship. As he leaves in the ship, he will return the sun and the moon's platforms to them. And the sun and the moon will come and they'll argue over that little stick figure we built earlier. Now, what you want to do, you can do either one, but one needs to end up on his own platform. So I'm going to take the moon and put him on his own ship. And then the other one needs to end up inside of the middle ship. So I'm going to take the sun and put him inside. You can reverse that order, but as long as one's inside and one's outside, they're going to take turns with the stick figure, and they should both be happy with the outcome here. And you'll unlock your final achievement called Peacemaker for reconciling the sun with the moon. At this point, you should have your 1000 out of 1000 gamer score. You'll probably now be quickly uninstalling your game. And just double check here. We have all 1000. And how long is the video? Let's check here. We are at 31 minutes and 50 seconds, which is actually faster than I thought it would be. I thought it would be around the 35-minute mark. Yo, thank you guys so much for watching. If this video was helpful, a like is always super appreciated. Sharing this video with a friend is also extremely helpful to me. If you end up getting your 1000, why don't you tweet me a photo of all your gamer score? I would love that. That'd be amazing. Also, a special thanks to all the amazing people on Patreon and DocCupcake84 for supporting the show as well. You can check him out on mixer.com/DocCupcake. He seems to be streaming quite a bit, and he's a nice dude, so you can check him out. Thank you guys so much for watching, and hopefully I see you next time. Peace.